Welcome to the staging area. We are here at Talcott South, like always, our home, away from home. The staging area is, I figured we should talk about what the staging area technically is every episode, maybe. The staging area is a bunch of us goofballs talking about UFS topics. Don't know if they're relevant, don't know if they're correct, don't know if they're wrong, but we're going to do it because you guys watch it.
The correct answer is it's always wrong, Chris.
Okay, it's always wrong, sure. I'm your UFS dad, Chris Smith. Tonight I am joined with, as always, Trip Pants, and making a long return from a hiatus,
Mr. Joshua Copeland.
And then we got a new guy. Everyone
It's
knows
your boy Reese!
It's your boy Reese! So tonight's topic is the 20. I've been doing a lot of 2017 in review shows. I did one on my other show because I'm multi-talented on the Guile treatment, where we talk about things that we want to talk about instead of talking about what you guys want to talk about. So I tasked Trip Pants here of figuring out. He went into the backlogs of deck lists from like PTCs, majors. And
the games of yesteryear.
Of yesteryear. And got a list of the most played cards and top cuts. Basically, he went from winners down. So I don't know how deep he went. If he went like just top 4, top 8. So
top 8.
He went top 8. So
Every event,
top 8.
Post-Worlds. I'm sorry.
Post-Worlds?
Post-Worlds.
That's not that bad. Because Street Fighter.
Because all that happened at Worlds was Tango Dive, Wheel and Steel, Zoe.
Oh, fair enough. And the WAF. Can't forget the WAF.
WAF was actually played more than Cannonade.
I could see that, because WAF is insane.
One of them was
There were fire weapon decks that just decided not to play Cannonade.
To be fair, one of them's a common, the other one's an ultra rare. This is like 25 cents. This is like $35.
That's why this got banned.
Okay, so why don't you lead us off with number 10, Trip Pants, and we can just work up from there.
Well, statistically speaking, number 10 is an attack. It is Slaughterhouse.
Cool.
Slaughterhouse was actually played in basically any deck that played Void and Rainflush at the same time.
Well, that would make a lot of sense because you get so much free damage off of that.
Void base decks, Athena decks.
Well, one big time that Slaughterhouse was played, it was at Nationals, and that won Nationals. That is just, it's free damage if you play highs and lows, and with Rainflush, it's an extra 4 damage, so it's insane and stupid. So, any thoughts on that card? Do you like that card? Dislike that card?
I think the card is great. People call it Slaughterhorse, and I find it kind of irritating.
It is,
and I'm surprised more people don't play it with Duo. You just get plus 4 damage.
Well, they could, but now it's going to be Duo's rotating, so...
I'm sorry, Aaron.
We're okay with him.
They already did that video.
We've already done that video already. You weren't here, but yeah, we'll give you...
I was in the background.
Oh, okay, fine, whatever. I know you haven't had a lot of experience with the Slaughterhouse.
I haven't had an opportunity to play it, but obviously I've been around watching people play it.
Yes.
And like you said, there's just so much you can do with it that's just free.
Yeah.
You don't lose out on anything.
Yeah, it's a total plus card.
Yeah.
The only issue is if you check a 3 on it.
Yeah.
That's the only bad thing. Which doesn't matter, because if you're Athena, you get free foundations for days anyways, so it doesn't matter. Number 9.
Nivose.
Fuck that card. Fuck you, Garrett Brett, for playing that card a billion times over.
It's been in air kick decks, post Street Fighter. It's been in death kick decks because people were like, I can play Prepared to Fight with stop your turn and then just Nivose you.
And then also, like, Grant Padley puts on 3 extra speed and damage. It's still a good card. Like, it's still
a really good card,
still
and that's the problem.
It's just people are tired of seeing that card over and over again. I think I've killed more of you with Nivose than I have with any other card, period. Except, everywhere maybe. Because I murdered you guys into that. I don't think you've been Nivosed yet.
I have not been Nivosed.
Okay, so...
I know what it does.
So, you know how they say, like...
No, you don't.
Okay, so...
Until you look at it.
Until you see it.
Until it stares you in the face,
So,
you don't
so
know
here
what it
are
does.
you. Here's you. You've never been Nivosed. Here's us. it doesn't even compare because when you get like a billion, it doesn't even need to be a billion speed. It can just be like 6 speed, but it's gonna be like 50 damage coming down your throat.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything about it.
And especially on reversal.
Yeah. Oh
like,
god, yeah. Especially
it'll
like,
either kill you or stop your turn
Turn.
because of how fast it is. Because
Yeah.
you're just like, I have to block it,
it's
and
going
now
to
I'm
be
committed on.
when you play Nivose on a reversal, it is lethal. It is always lethal because your opponent is gonna set it up to where they can kill you on your turn. Because I love doing that, by the way. That was on the last video we just did. But I'm happy that I am hopeful that we're gonna get MK before Worlds, and we won't have to deal with that bullshit anymore. So we still
doesn't win more cardboard.
Yeah, well, Nivose didn't win didn't win cardboard the past 2 times. Yeah, Slaughterhouse Athena. Sorry, I didn't mean to spit on you. Sturmwaff.
Stormwaffles.
Yeah.
Pharaoh Man won Worlds.
Yeah.
UK. Okay, UK Nats. Kevin. I think Kevin had it in his Psyche deck.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that since Garrett won against Corey, I think
So
that was
World 2
2 years ago. I think so. Yeah, that was the last time it won cardboard. It's won tons of PTCs. Don't get me wrong, Kevin Broberg. You's amazing. I love you. But people just walk into that card. It's amazing how like it kills new players so easily because they just walk into it.
I can't imagine why a card that says the less you do, Mr. Newbie, the stronger I am.
Yes.
Just outright kills.
It just outright just murders people. So
Shout out to Nivose for having great artwork.
And on reversal, it just absolutely destroys aggro decks because aggro has nothing to do defensively for
it
enhances.
doesn't. So enough about that bullshit card. Let's move on. What's number 8?
The hunt for spiders and dragons.
From bullshit to bullshit.
Okay,
Let's
so
keep the hype train going,
so
kids.
Hunting Spires and Dragons. That card. I may be the only one here who loves that card.
Well, I think that card's awesome.
That card is fantastic.
I do.
I love playing it for where it's burn 2, gain 2 more than I do for the flip.
You might be the only one.
I
that loves
I
doing
think
that.
because I think that is so like okay. So if I have to build it turn 1, it's extra damage later in the game.
Yeah.
So it's not like
Or
the
keeps
end,
you alive.
or keeps me alive. So it's not the end all if I build it. But man, if what's awesome is when you block with it and then you reverse and then bring it down.
Yeah.
Just like you can do with apples, it's just
See, I don't hate that card. I hate that you can Champ of Southtown it into
Oh
your
god, yeah. Oh,
and
dude.
then play some really gimmicky Earth life
Oh,
bullshit.
Garrison
and just-
Bonnell, I love you so much. Okay, so the Champ of Southtown engine with that is you would play an Earth life kind of attack
I
lineup.
played against
Dimitri.
Ran.
Yeah,
Gabrick.
it was to be well, yeah, Gabrick, Dimitri, whatever, and then what you do is back when KOF 13 was legal, you had Ladies Man. So what you do
Oh,
is
that's even worse.
you would have spiders, you would attack, bring it down, blow it up with Ladies Man, draw a card,
Use
Champion of
another
Southtown, bring it in, come down, blow it up. You would just keep cycling the same one over and over again. So your entire staging area was blank by like turn 2.
And then if Garrison told me the story correctly, Ben Shoemaker
Yeah, then-
has 14
Face
face-down
downs.
foundations. Go, man, you guys are grinding. This is turn 2.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That I was there when that happened. That was funny. But the control, I think a lot of people are negative against that card is because it's such a free control piece.
Yeah.
And yes, death and life are a couple of the power symbols right now. So it's just too free. It's too free of control. Like spinning pile driver is basically the same thing, but it's played on shitty symbols. So I think that's why people don't complain about that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have a block,
True.
and it doesn't check a 5. So
What's
I
his
think that
third
card-
symbol?
what?
It has Earth Order.
Okay. Oh, what? Void. It's a
Void?
It's a Zangief throw, but like
It has Onion symbol.
it gives Spires and Dragons gives Chaos some type of foundation control.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Since Ever Hopeful got nerfed into disappearance, so it gives them something to at least keep up, I guess, because all the other 2 symbols are just way better. So whatever.
that card for the series of Ever Hopeful. It can build itself down just like Bounce and Roll, the greatest card you ever made. Second only.
And same thing, but it comes down ready, which is crazy.
Which is true.
Which I think if that card was made now, it would come down committed,
yeah,
just like Apples.
Yeah,
Because I think they saw that. I assume so. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna assume that they saw that how powerful that card is coming down, like free stuff coming down, like Transform, Petropower comes down ready, not committed. So it's super free. Like it's just free as fuck. So whatever.
Well, that's just to feed Turbo Man's gimmick of.
Oh, I understand.
Of
those
committing
two,
and stuff.
those two, I
But
understand.
then you just go, well, then I don't play it with Turbo Man, and I play it
Yeah.
with a better character that can
Yeah.
actually make it super free.
Sheep Man, stuff like that.
Yeah, Metal Man just recycling transforms.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. So number 6, I believe.
I believe we're at 7.
7, 6.
We're at 7, which
Cool.
is Templar.
Templar. Oh, Templar. You should have been rotated so long ago.
They just keep reprinting you.
It's that card that I still need.
Dude,
They keep
bruh,
reprinting
you can just buy them online. Just
Along
bite
with-
the bullet and buy them.
Along with another
so
card that's
much
on this
money.
list.
But okay, so Templar, I think before Prepared to Fight was considered the best overall block in the game,
Especially when it had Breaker 1.
especially when it had Breaker 1. Yes.
When it
So-
had Breaker 1, it also had just a giant brick of text.
Yes.
We just ignored the bottom part.
Yep. Exactly. Except for him, because he
Except
actually
for-
played it offensively.
Except for Reese.
He plays it
myself.
offensively.
Reese pays attention to all his enhancements.
Yes, he does. But it's still considered a very good card.
Oh, yeah.
It's still a very good card. It's just that Prepared to Fight came out.
Yeah.
And it's on separate symbols, so it doesn't matter, but it's just, if you compare the cards, they're kind of equal, except for the fact that it doesn't have Breaker 1.
Yeah.
It draws you 2, gains you 2. In a way, Prepared to Fight gains you life, because it pitches, it
Saves
What?
you from multiple.
saves you for multiples, thank you. I tripped over
An
my words.
Omni block.
And an Omni block. So it kind of saves, it doesn't draw cards. But my favorite part about Templar is that you can just draw 2 if you're at full, and then it's just like, cool, man, then I'm just going to reversal you, and then you just like splat them or whatever, because you obviously
Yeah,
play
I mean,
off life,
and
because
then
life is
you
the greatest
can-
symbol ever.
Yeah, you can do stuff like Ophid and just take
Off
no
air,
damage.
Take no
just
damage,
keep-
just draw cards, and it's still a really, I still think it's one of those cards that people just pack 4
And,
of
like-
into a deck, but
And even playing Vega tonight, the netting of just like taking 1 damage from gaining and then half blocking to get it is just
oh, definitely.
yeah.
It keeps you, it allows you to control your own vitality gain and loss if you're like a Vega character. So that's all we can really say about that card.
Prepare to Fight is like Templar if they made it a control piece as opposed to...
Offensive, yeah, because Templar's technically supposed. Well, there is an offensive enhance on Prepared to Fight, but we're not going to talk about that. This is about Templar. So number 6.
Number 6
Finally.
is Hien Shippuu Kyaku.
Yes,
Little Robert kick.
the greatest attack in Standard.
well, the greatest reversal.
The greatest reversal. Well, actually, technically, Nivose is, but this is my favorite card right now in Standard. It just does. Like, it may not kill your opponent, but it does.
It does
so much.
It does what you need it to do.
It draws you a card if you play on reversal. It gives you Breaker 1 to your next block. So if you're playing Air, your Templar gets Breaker 1. But if you're playing Death, your Prepared to Fights get Breaker 2, which is awesome. It's a 4 for 4.
Also does that off of order.
I know, it does it off of order too. I know. I play it off of order. I know. I love that card. It's like
you
my
give
favorite
your
attack.
stop breaker 1.
You could. That's funny. Now, that's funny. It is a very. It's not a. Unless you really pack damage on it, it's more of like a utility card than it is like a kill card, like Nivose is.
Yeah.
I see a lot of air decks playing it. I know Garrett's a big fan of that card. I know the Calgary guys are a huge fan. They usually they play it in their decks just because it draws cards defensively, and it's hilarious when your opponent reversals you. Then you can draw a card offensively with it. That's awesome.
And the one deck that I saw that wasn't your standard air death kick deck that was playing it was I believe it's Barrett Bryant from
from
Omaha was playing it in his Mega
Mega
Man 2.
Man.
Shoutouts to you, dude.
Yeah, he got top 4 with that deck.
Yeah.
And he would block, it doesn't really matter, and then he would reverse, give it stun 2 with Mega Man 2, stun your opponent's board.
Yep.
And then be like, cool, man. Well, if you attack me again, I'm just gonna breaker one you on top of like my prepared to fight.
Yeah.
So
and
not only are
you're
you
like
stunned,
2
you're
to
breaking
3 cards deep now.
Yeah, and you're pretty much hosed.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing.
yeah, that deck's really, really good. It's a really weird like counterplay deck to where you just counter. It's a counter deck. That's all it is. It counters the meta really well because it's like people can't recover from stun on their turn. It's really hard because then you just backswing them.
Yeah. Flames Restored is good for that
Yeah,
same reason.
exactly. The only issue is it's a 3/5 that destroys itself.
I didn't say it was good. I said it had a good bit to it.
It does have a good bit to it, that's for sure. You haven't really had a
I
chance to
haven't
play
had
with
a
it
chance to
because
play
you
with it.
are a resident newbie. So yeah, if you want copies, I got copies.
I will continue to say, I wish I was around and playing when King of Fighters was a thing because that is one of my favorite fighting game franchises.
Fair enough.
This game
You
has
have a month.
this game
Ish.
both
So I got like Neil Max.
this game both introduced me and made King of Fighters one of my favorites.
Oh, definitely.
Because I had never touched a King.
Robert Garcia is the best character in King of Fighters, hands down. I'm sorry. I'm talking to you, Miles Tyler. So shut up. He's awesome.
Shut
He's
up,
my
cameraman.
fave. Shut up, cameraman.
Also,
So,
shout out to
next
Miles
card.
for the great conversation we had at Gen Con.
This one was actually really a shocker to me. It was Balanced Fighter.
How is that a shocker to you?
How is that a shocker? to you,
Because
bud?
because the fact that people put so much faith into their Balanced Fighter design for combat engine.
It's the best
just
engine out there for
everywhere.
death. No, I'm serious. Like,
And like the only reason that it's snuck above all those other jank, broken, stupid ass cards that we just talked about is because Grant Padley just goes, aha!
yeah, that's also true. But you gotta think though, like,
And now
Well,
even
even-
Napalm Man just goes,
well, yeah,
I'll draw a
of
card and
course.
fish.
like Death obviously would play that engine. Because Death,
All
before,
three of them should
before,
play that
Well,
engine.
I know, but if you look at Death, it had no real card draw. Before Padley, I should say, before Street Fighter, and it really all it relied on was that to draw cards, and it didn't rely on Balanced Fighter in general. It was designed for combat.
Yeah.
Balanced Fighter was just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And then Padley came out and was like, oh god, and then like all these like Yamato Man and all that crap.
Yeah, and all these speed decks came out.
Yeah, and that's basically what the meta is currently. Is well, I can make this attack as fast as possible, and you can't block it. And I'm gonna hit you over and over again. So like we're like in the 2017 year in review for the Gal treatment. The Fate Hammer card. Well, if I can pack 6 speed onto attack and drop 6 damage on, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah.
So it's like
well.
it's like, so you're gonna need a hard reset like that, and Balanced Fighter I think is maybe the best just straight speed reset.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, well, whatever. And it's amazing on multiples, by the way.
And it's reusable.
And it's reusable. I think the -2 speed cards are kind of trapped sometimes.
Yeah.
But
because
that
it's really -1.
one exactly. But that hard reset to print it is amazing sometimes.
Yeah,
It can really help you.
absolutely.
So what's the next card?
Admiral Toofus von McChumpington.
Ah,
I hope I got that name right because I did not look at the
the
card.
Admiral. This is an Atlanta asset. I'm pretty sure everybody knows the Cam Newton.
Yeah.
So that card's
the
nuts.
character with the most cardboard.
He is technically the character with the most cardboard without having an actual character, but technically he is because he's on Ben 2.
Yep.
The control that card allows, the speed control, the -2/+2 offensively, defensively, and then the ability to blank one of your opponent's foundations. People, I think, sleep on the seal mechanic a bit.
Oh,
Because, take an old Gabbert card called Weight of Memory. That's whenever your opponent drew a card,
That card was great.
you committed it to seal a foundation on your opponent's side, and then you drew a card on top of it.
oh my
That
god.
was such a silver bullet for shield ram decks. It
That-
was just like
no.
all
That
your
was the
stuff
silver
doesn't do
bullet
it.
for the Assets Athena deck. That blanked your
That-
Forester, and that's the reason why Corey beat Kevin in Tops, was because he's like, well, you draw a card, well, you can't use it to Forester again. You'd have to literally, because he would have Dimitri flip it, and then he'd have to, and then
Yeah.
Kevin would have to hard bring one in off of an Athena enhance. But I think that if if I don't know if Toofus was out then. Toofus was out then. I don't know, but Toofus is we don't see a lot of it personally here around here because a lot of you guys don't own it. But I just don't play it because I just don't like playing assets sometimes. And I don't play those symbols very much anymore because I've just been adventuring off into like the good land with the wood.
It's Death, Fire, Void.
Death, Fire, and Void. So like I've played some Death, but I'd rather just play Prepared to Fight. Yeah. And just flip my opponent's shit with Spires and Dragons.
Yeah.
And it's just much easier to use, and it's less hard. It's not as easy to destroy because assets are so fragile right now. Even though like Spinning Necro Driver's gone, we still have Spine Sweep, we still have Homemade Explosives, we have Cowboy Battery, which tonight Cowboy Battery put in work, destroying assets over and over again.
We played it wrong.
I know, but against Nate, I did the same thing.
Oh, did you?
He would drop Saw Blades, and I would pop my assets to get rid of the Saw Blades. So. It's just assets are really fragile, so you have to like in Dave, in Dave Wagner, that's perfect. You can just drop those things all day like candy, and just go to town. So
yeah, absolutely.
Another deck that works really well in is Wily 2 Under Death. Shoutouts to Tamron Cardwell. Played it during the second day of Worlds 2017, and it made it a lot harder to kick his ass. Still did it, but it made it a lot harder.
Well, if we're going to give proper shoutouts, I believe that was a play from Phil.
That was
Phil picking up Wily 2 and doing it off of Death instead of off of Evil.
Off of Evil.
But
and then he threw that in there.
It makes a huge difference.
It's an ally, so you can use it with Wily. It gave Wily another part of control. Is it range?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Oh wow, it is.
It's range.
What the fuck?
Because then both Dave and Ben can literally just go Toofus, Shield Ram.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, so what's next?
Next would be Prepared to Fight.
Really? 3?
Yeah. It has been
it's everywhere.
Since its release.
How would you like to talk about tonight?
Since its release, it has been everywhere.
Well, it is, for lack of a better term, it is the most successful card at a Street Fighter, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe it's probably money-wise the most expensive from Street Fighter right now.
I think it's the most expensive card in Standard.
I would only sell my copies for $210 a piece. It keeps going up every $10 every time someone mentions it.
I could have sworn I saw on Facebook like 3 days ago it was 125.
Oh no,
double.
It's almost double.
Yeah, we had to keep talking about
it's up at 250 right now. So,
in fact, this entire video is just a ploy to keep spiking.
Exactly. But you gotta think though, the card we talked about a little already, but it does so much. Breaker 1, Omni Block, gets rid of multiples. It floods your opponent's card pool
and can
which
kill them.
Is insane because I've stopped people playing combos. I've slowed an opponent's turn down just by going, well, E, cool, whatever, and then like the Tomahawk Man deck doesn't even need foundations. It just freaking plays the card and you have to start pulling stuff up. He doesn't lose anything.
Yeah.
So it gets played a lot more offensively and defensively than most people think. So, and that card's amazing. Don't get me wrong. So the card's just nuts. So that's number 2. Unless you have something else to add.
No, the number 2 and 3 were kind of tied because since their release, they have been literally everywhere. And I'll call 2 and 3 a tie with Pulled My Trigger.
The best asset in the game.
Yeah, the most successful.
Yes. Champ card currently.
Out of Champ Batch 4.
Yeah, it is the most successful. It's won multiple PTCs. It won Nats. I think Kevin plays it in his Psyche. I'm not sure. Did you see it in his Psyche deck for UK Nats? I don't know. He probably had it in there. There's no reason not to play it. He plays Exodia in that deck.
Whoever did play Psyche and won got it. I think Ryan McClain played.
No, he played Jury. And he played Jury off of Evil.
You're
talking about Nats teams.
Yeah, Nats teams.
Okay, yeah. Shout outs to Ryan and my buddies in Vegas. Congratulations. Yeah, that card's nuts. Like I haven't really played it with it. We technically as a group haven't. We don't really experiment with assets that much.
I experimented with that.
Circulation.
Yeah, I experimented with that card a little bit.
Yeah.
I found myself using it for the block.
Yeah. Well, sure, but that I think if I built like Woodman off of Earth, I would probably put it in there because I'd have a lot of fodder just to get rid of with it. I think you need to. It really shines in 7-handers because you get those extra foundations you don't need.
Yeah.
Like Athena aside because she's really an 8-hander. Like Psyche gets value out of it. I think Woodman would
I
even
was
get
just about to
Woodman would be like the prime 6-hander because he gets that free foundation off the top without losing staging area. So you could probably play like an Earth Woodman. Just a couple other like you would never. I don't think you'd ever. The only 5-hander you would actually play it in is who it was actually made for, and that's Caden 3-dot because they specifically made it for Caden 3-dot. You saw that was on the Rochester CCG show.
Yeah.
Because you block, blow up the foundation, respond with him, return it back to your hand,
Okay.
block
it
again.
again.
And you just destroy their face-ups. So there's not much else other than that. Congrats, guys. That card is fucking bonkers.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Just so happens that our meta here in Rockford doesn't play a lot of assets.
We don't play a lot of assets. Like, I just started, like, my Woodman plays 5. That's pretty much it. You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's Psycho Soldier and White House.
Yeah.
I think Sawblades probably wins
Sawblade-
the trophy here because Sawblades
yeah.
is the only one that's ever really shown up.
Yeah, Saw Blades,
that-
yeah.
that
I
was
would say
been
homemade
like-
explosives, too.
Homemade
too.
explosives for sure.
Yeah. So what's
Especially-
So go ahead, finish your thought.
Homemade explosives for sure, just because of it's
A comment?
yeah, it's a common.
You mean it's easy
It's
to get?
easy to
it's
get.
all value. It's
Yeah.
asset hate.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
we tend to play high value cards.
Yeah,
here,
for sure.
So, and we don't play a lot of the like the champ card value because a lot of us don't. Like I think me and Tyler and Trent are the only ones who actually own them. For Pullman triggers. I think we're the only 3 because we scooped them up right away when they came out.
I don't know if I even have a single champ card at Champ Pack 4 right now.
Oh, I can hook you up. I got a whole
well,
bunch.
you got Phil Birch.
I do. I have a signed copy of Phil Birch.
Damn, that's high. All right,
Just
so
like the man
number
himself.
1, so we can finish this up.
Anybody who's
So you guys know we're closing up about 10 minutes.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
anybody who knows the current meta card pool and hasn't guessed what number 1 is doesn't know the current meta card pool because it's Revoke.
Well, of course.
Revoke is, I think, statistically the most played card since it has been released.
I would assume so because it's negation on a stick. So I don't see anybody playing those symbols who wouldn't play it.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason not to play that
Yeah.
card.
It's
And
more
it
of a
even gets
negation
splashed
than
in.
Yeah, it's also foundation build.
It's spam.
Yeah.
It's
It
a 5
the
check.
only thing it doesn't do is it just doesn't block.
Yeah.
It doesn't attack and it doesn't block.
But
No,
at the
instead,
same
it's
time,
but
you
some-
don't
yeah, but
lose
some-
it.
yeah.
events.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
yeah, exactly.
sometimes negating somebody getting +5 damage with a Fey Hammer is
Oh,
blocking.
that or getting rid of like a multiple spear or multiple cowboy
Yeah.
battery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it can
Sometimes
also,
that is blocking.
it can also protect your kill from a defensive, like a defensive
Yep.
enhance.
Good piece of evidence is if you look at Surprise Reunion. First off, that card is awful. Second off, it's essentially a worse Revoke, but they gave it a block,
Yeah.
and nobody fucking cares.
Yeah. Actually, I think Garrett played one copy of it in his Nats deck.
It's one more piece of negation.
Yeah,
That's like
it's one.
literally
It's
own-
all it is. It's in there for like an extra piece of negation because it can stop a character ability. Correct?
I think so.
Yeah. So
It's
if-
any enhance or response.
yeah. So like if you really need to protect your kill, I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's gonna guarantee you the kill shot, sure, why not?
I ran it as a one-of in my Reese deck for a bit, just because I was like, hey, it's on air!
Yeah.
For some
but
reason.
I think the bigger question with Revoke is how many copies you play, other than are you playing?
Yeah.
Common strategy is obviously 3 main board, 1 sideboard.
Yeah.
Second only to 2 and 1 in the sideboard because
Yeah.
some people don't even feel as though 4 is necessary ever.
I don't think 4 would be necessary because if you draw 2 in your opening hand, that's not bad. But if you draw 3, you feel horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a 6-hander, and that's bad. Like I would say, I think if you're a 7-hander, you would probably play 3 side 1.
Mhm.
If you're a 6-hander, you're going 2 inside 1. Because as a 6-hander, you don't want to draw both. You don't want to draw all your copies in one go. A 7-hander can mitigate that more by pocketing that extra card. Building it, pocketing maybe 1 or 2, because then you can build 3 or 4 on your opening turn, and then
Right.
you're like, cool. If you don't have a first F, you can just lay it. I think Dan only played 2 copies in his Athena
Mhm.
because his first F is oh, I built one for free anyway, so
Essentially
why would
the
I?
second half of Revoke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why would I need it? You know.
Yeah.
So
The true champs are those of you who only play one.
those guys.
There were
nuts.
some people out there
Those
that
guys
are,
are crazy.
that are just waiting for your opponent to just go, Nivose.
They just throw it at him like, no, it's like you fell into my trap card, Yugi boy. You know?
You're Seto Kaiba jamming a gun with a piece of cardboard.
Yeah. So, so for those who are wondering, I'll have Tyler send me this list and I'll tag it at the bottom of the video. So this video will be out as of recording maybe in a couple weeks because I got some stuff going on at home. So other than that, any thoughts on the cards that Any thoughts other than what we said already? Anything surprising that you didn't see on the list?
The only absolute change to the top 10 list would have been that something would have gotten bumped down for Throw It Down for the sole fact of Worlds.
Oh, really?
There's so many.
Another card
old-
I need up with
I'm surprised Cowboy Battery isn't on that list
I was actually surprised by that.
because
as well.
that card is just straight dome. So that or Spear, I'm surprised either of those aren't on it. I'm surprised.
I would say the biggest reason why I wouldn't expect to see Cowboy Battery on there is because there are just so many air decks out right
Well,
now.
so here's my one small gripe is that any attacks that you think should have been on the list were automatically knocked out by Slaughterhouse Rain Flush decks and kick decks. Like really, another tie should have been Ryujin Shippuu Kyaku with Nivose because
that card,
usually if you're playing that, you're playing the other
playing
one.
them both. Yeah. So, well, that's pretty much it for the episode. Thanks, guys, and thanks for watching. And good night. Hit the
Peace.
button, Marco.